Hey everybody, come on in. Welcome to the channel. I am the Desert Claw, and I know why you're all here today. You're here for the ultimate battle. Actually in two mangas this time. But first, the one we've all been waiting for. Arthur versus Dragon. That's right. The chapter has finally been translated. Finally. Alright. Let me get some stuff set up here real quick. Some music going. Let people come in. If you are coming in here, hit the like button. Apparently it helps out the stream, I guess. And subscribe for more content. Okay. I can't wait. So, chapter got translated. Here we go. Chapter 263. The Battle of Legend. Arthur versus Dragon starts. So, clearly, last chapter we saw Arthur dashing off using his new zoom spell from Dragon Quest, whatever. And in this chapter, you is very surprised by Arthur's new abilities because it even defies the reality that he came from, where the most fantastical thing that he saw was people with fire powers. Now Arthur has added to that arsenal in Adola by using the most powerful ability in Adola, your imagination. So he asks Vulcan how Arthur got so powerful. And Vulcan just says, oh, he played a video game. He played your average Super Nintendo game. Not Nintendo. Nintendo. And Yu is like super surprised by it. He's like, yeah, Arthur just finished an RPG on the Super Nintendo and leveled up to the max. And Yu has a moment here that shows that he understands how this world works. While he says he doesn't quite get it, but he gets it enough where he's like, I don't get it, but I understand the feeling. It's like how you feel super strong after watching a bunch of kung fu movies. So anybody who's out there right now wants to get pumped up, read or watch something fictional or play something, and everyone's gonna get an automatic level up. And you ask if Arthur's gonna be able to win, and yeah, Vulcan's like, yeah, he's got my Excalibur that I made for him. And so Arthur flies off into a volcano in the middle of nowhere. It says the coast of Tama Bay, which, okay, how fast and how far away was that? And obviously, Dragon's already come back to Earth. He didn't want to stay out in space like Cars from JoJo. And, yeah, everybody can become powerful by imagination. Play your video games, read your books, watch your movies. And you too will become a god. So Dragon's just waiting him, and it's very funny because the panels have this, like, archaic look to them. Like, they completely change based on this event. It's given this, like, almost like narrator who's being overly dramatic. It's like, simultaneously at the volcano that just appeared off the coast of Tama Bay, where the great dragon awaits his sworn enemy, thunder reverberates across the land. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous. And then you get to this, I got the panel up right now. You get the introduction. It's almost like, it reminds me not of like a wrestling introduction, because that's way more like grandiose. This reminds me of like a fighting game, like Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear, for like the 2 or 3 seconds when a fighter comes on screen and introduces themselves, or Street Fighter. And so you got the Violet Flash, which is Arthur, and he does his fighting game quip. My apologies for keeping you waiting. And then the Great Dragon, it's like, what took you so long? I spared you enough time, have I not? And now, like, in the next panel, it has them standing 2D, like they're in a 2D fighter, but they're still talking. He's like, were you able to keep yourself occupied while I was gone? And Arthur just kind of shrugs him off. And Dragon can tell that he's more powerful, so he's like, what could have happened in such a short amount of time? And Arthur then goes on to tell him, because Arthur is king of role-playing. Arthur is King LARPer. I battled to the death with my closest friend, and I lost my comrades in battle with demons. My home village was even set ablaze. And after this grand journey, I have become the Night King. Yeah, it could be Arthur's narration. That's a really good thought. And so he does his proclamation, and obviously none of those things really happen in the real world, but they happen in Dragon Question. And Dragon laments, "There is little time before the destruction of this world. Let us hope that you will hold together then." And Arthur says, "This world shall not be destroyed. I shall defeat you and put a stop to your despair." Which, God, I would love to see how Arthur picks up on this, because this is exactly what Sumier said. The powerful beings in the world right now have to stop despairing. It doesn't matter if all the people stop. It has to be anybody who matters, the main characters on both sides, the Fire Force and the White Clad. I don't know if Charon dying changes that, because he went out a true believer. So maybe them leaving the mortal plane diminishes the power. I don't know. So he says, "Despair no longer, for I am here." And it's, it's because Dragon wants a worthy opponent, so he's always in despair. And now in the next panel, he's clearly happy. So here's one thing I want to point out. So apparently the actual translation, according to the team, is Arthur's ability is something like purple electricity. And if you look here, Arthur now is not just using fire powers, he's manifesting or using electricity around him. And in the translation, it's violent flash, which is something he's used for a long time, but it's clearly upgraded. And what's interesting is, if you've ever played Dragon Quest, every hero character gets access to an ability called Giga Slash. And Giga Slash in the games is an electric attack. Your sword becomes electric, and it's usually an attack that hits everybody on the screen. Oh yeah, that totally does remind me of All Might. "Fear not, I am here." It's a good catch. It's been a while. I only watched the anime Hero Academia. I don't keep up with the manga. I probably should. But yeah, so he's clearly using Giga Slash, and to back up my claim, Dragon launches Arthur into the heavens with his Dragon Blast, and Arthur's able to just, I guess he's casting Zoom constantly up there to fly, or he's almost walking on clouds, it looked like. But here you see the thunder from within the thundercloud accumulates inside the Holy Blade. So he is using thunder. He is using Giga Slash. His power has come from Dragon Quest. All of them. You can even tell by the pixelated look of some of these things. So he summons the Holy Blade, and he calls it Violent Flash Descent, and slashes Dragon across the chest. And mind you, a couple times Dragon has been nicked by Excalibur and taken damage, so he's not invincible anymore. And then after this move, Dragon is bleeding basically, and he's super happy about it. He's like, "My body," and then the violent flash strikes through, and Arthur's just got you. So the fight that ends there, and the fight is just getting started. But let's talk about what this means for other characters now. Once they figure out, like Joker, I'm curious. I have an idea. I wonder if it will happen. Can non-powered individuals, now that the realms are merged, could they imagine themselves power? Could Obi become powerful? Could Vulcan could Licht become powerful? Any non-empowered individual, or are there still rules? Do you still have to be, connected to Adola per se? Like the bug, when you become fire powered, you're supposedly merging, or you're touching the veil through your doppelganger on either side, and that's giving you a greater connection to Adola, which is manifesting powers from that. And now I'm starting to wonder, is the reason why the powers are fire is because of the narrative around the Holy Soul Church, the narrative around human combustion, all of these fire elements, and anytime somebody connected to Adola via a bug or a natural occurrence, due to the collective unconscious of what is around in the community, everything just manifested as fire. Yeah, so I can now non-fire. I agree. Can they just imagine what they want? And I'm wondering now, I'm even questioning the manifestation of fire in the real world, if that was just something that is, because I guess the dole is supposed to represent hell too, so maybe that's just a natural thing. But now our entire, you know how like in a manga, one thing that annoys me about a lot of series, it has started with DBZ, is power levels. As soon as power levels get introduced, it doesn't ruin the series for me, but it makes me roll my eyes. Like Seven Deadly Sins had this problem. They induced power levels, like I think like after chapter 60 or something, and it just, and you know, it changes the dynamic. It doesn't ruin the series, it just makes it weird. Like there's one reason why, and if you go back to Dragon Ball Super, why the the final tournament arc is so exciting is because power levels really don't matter there, because you're not going power for power, you're going to knock people off the stage, so it becomes more of a who is smarter and powerful, who's going to win. And when you introduce power levels, it's always like if the other person has a higher power level, you're screwed. Black Clover kind of has this problem too, but not really. They have inserted power levels. They have like stages 1 through 7, arcane stage, and stage 0 or whatever, right? But I don't. The way that they have that set up, I don't know if that's really going to ruin the series. But my point is Fire Force, instead of introducing power levels, they introduced a new system in a weird way in the final arc of the series, which I find very, very interesting. And this could just be exclusive to Arthur. There could not be one character right now that even learns or figures this out, except maybe Arthur's dad, if we ever see that guy again. So, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of just speak out loud of things that I'm just like questioning right now about the series in general. So, Part 1 of Dragon vs. Arthur. I heard that there might have been a delay in the next chapter, 264, because Okubo was still drawing Dragon vs. Arthur in Part 2. I don't know. We'll see. But tell me what you thought about this week's chapter. I thought it was really good. The next week's chapter is called He Who Transcends. So Arthur is going to continue to transcend beyond here. I hope we get to see Plasma Mantle again. I want to see Plasma. You remember Plasma Mantle when he first ran into Dragon and his imagination was going wild and he spawned a Plasma cape? I want that back. So I hope we get to see that. But yeah. Yeah, so I don't think on the power levels, I agree with you. I don't think Black Clover's power levels are really, they're more like just, they're just descriptors. They're not going to, because Seven Deadly Sins, I'll talk about this before we move on to Black Clover, but Seven Deadly Sins adopted DBZ's power level scaling, but then also changing it. So like you had a physical power level and then a magic power level, which, like King had an insane magic power level and so did Merlin, but their physicality was garbage. When you put a number on that, I think it makes things that. But Black Clover is just like a scale definition. Like Sekirei, for example, is arcane, which is supposed to be the best, but her power on its own is not devastating, really. So